Should you buy a house this year? The answer is a little bit more complicated than you may think. But for starters, my name is Tiffany. I'm a loan officer here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I would love to help you with a purchase or a refinance here. So if you're interested in working with me, I'm going to leave all of my information in the description box below. Feel free to reach out and I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. But now onto the video. For starters, I will say this market is not for everyone. So depending on what your situation may be, really determines whether or not you should buy a home this year. But with that being said, I do think that there's some really interesting opportunities that might fit the right people in order to buy this year. So I'm going to break down what I think those opportunities are. And if you are one of these people that fit in these opportunities, then I would encourage you to buy this year. But if you're not, then I would maybe talk to a loan officer and see what you need to do in order to get yourself in the best position possible in order to be able to buy when the time comes that you are ready for it. So for starters, number one, I think this is going to be a really great opportunity if you are having some kind of barrier to entry when it comes to buying. And when I say barrier to entry, I really mean either down payment assistance or closing cost assistance. Because right now we are seeing a rise of interest in these programs. At least I am. A colleague and I were actually talking the other day about how more and more realtors are asking us about down payment assistance programs. And it's because in particular, they're seeing more of an interest in these programs. What I saw personally in 2020 and 2021, it was that if you weren't someone who had excessive assets or, means to get qualified in a conventional loan, then you weren't getting your offer accepted. Versus right now, we're seeing people who, I don't want to say are desperate to sell, but you definitely have the people who are more motivated to sell, who are really trying to, get their home sold as much as possible. So you're seeing people who are taking offers that require, let's just say down payment assistance or seller concessions or, assistance in some way or another, or even having repairs done on the property. I am seeing sellers who realize that we are in a market that requires them to be a little bit more forgiving or budging. So we are seeing personally, or I'm seeing personally, just more of an interest in these programs because that typically tends to be what stops from being able to buy in the first place. And then also we're seeing sellers who, again, just want to sell their property who are now accepting these offers versus if they would have sold 2 years ago, they probably wouldn't have had to take that offer or they probably wouldn't have wanted to take that offer. So we're seeing a resurgence in down payment assistance. I'm seeing a surgence in seller concessions. And this leads me to my next point. I find that a lot more people are coming to me with FHA inquiries rather than conventional or even jumbos or any other type of loan program. I'm seeing much more interest in FHA. So if you don't know, FHA is a loan that is insured by the Federal Housing Administration. They're not the ones who are actually supplying the loan. It's just if for whatever reason someone defaults on that mortgage, they will cover the lender's obligation on that mortgage. So why are people so interested in this loan? It's because it's one of the most forgiving options when it comes to credit, as well as income and just how much you can actually receive from a seller. If you didn't know, a lot of loan types cap how much assistance you can actually receive. So on a conventional loan, it's 4%. On an FHA loan, it's one of the highest out there at 6%. So people who are hoping to take advantage of seller concessions and try to get as much as possible are coming to me in particular, trying to get more information on FHA loans and how to get qualified for them because they know that they want to take advantage of the seller concessions or as much aid as they can possibly get. But yeah, a lot of interest in the FHA program, at least from what I'm seeing. So what does this mean if you're looking to buy a home though? And why do I think that this is something that, if you are looking to get into, you should probably do that sooner than later? It's because when things start turning back on, and let's just say competition is back to 2020 levels, which I'm not saying it's going to get there, but let's just paint that picture in our head. An FHA loan was not as easily accepted by a seller because they are a little bit trickier when it comes to actually closing in, a good amount of time. Now, I will say the time has gotten better because there's not as many people who are interested in that loan. So there hasn't been as much of an increased demand when it comes to like nationwide for that loan program. So back in 2020 and 2021, we were seeing FHA loans close in like 30 to 45 days. Now it's easy to get it done under 30 days. However, that was one of the reasons why people weren't accepting those offers back in 2020 and 2021, was because it was taking too long. And sellers knew that they could get someone who could close in, 15 days to buy that property. So I think right now, if you are someone who, let's just say, only qualifies for an FHA loan, I would consider purchasing sooner rather than later. Because like I said, once competition comes back, or, things start getting more interesting in the market, I do see that people may not be as interested in that loan type as far as like sellers accepting that offer. So if you are someone who really wants to take advantage of the FHA loan program, I would recommend doing that sooner rather than later. Last but not least, this one is more, kind of take it with a grain of salt. But I know if I were trying to buy a house right now, the last thing that I would want to do is worry about bidding wars or multiple offer situations, or just feeling like I have to be rushed to pick something. So I personally like this market right now because people actually get to shop. They actually get to go look at houses. They actually get to feel good about their decisions, as opposed to picking the first house that comes available just because you want to buy. I personally see that, we are starting to get more interest, but I also see where people are getting, 30,000 in concessions because the seller is just motivated to sell. So I think we're starting to see, the beginning of an interest back in the real estate market, especially with rates coming down as of late. But I know that I personally just would not want to be rushed when it comes to making that big of a financial purchase. So this market is really great because it is so, I don't want to say bare, but there's a lot of opportunity right now to fall in love with a home and actually feel good about your home buying purchase. Versus, I think I saw a report the other day where 70% of people who bought within the last 2 years already regret it. And I think it's because people were forced, or they felt like they had to, jump in the frenzy, or they were going to have FOMO, not taking advantage of the low interest rates, but maybe didn't think through things, or maybe didn't actually go through with inspections, or maybe didn't really have a good due diligence process. So they feel like they maybe got rushed into something, or maybe if they had bought in a different market, as far as like time-wise, not like physical location, different market, but maybe they would have felt better about that purchase, or maybe they would have felt like they had taken more of a due diligence with that purchase. So that's just for me, me being personal and like telling you how I would want to buy. I just would not want to be rushed. And I like the fact that there's not a ton of people who are wanting to buy. So I would just prefer to purchase when I felt like it was on my time, and not, like a rat race to get there, if that makes sense. So just to recap, this market's not for everyone, especially if you're someone who's having affordability issues with the current interest rates the way that they are. I completely understand how that might not be the best opportunity for you to buy. But I think if you are someone who has the means to buy, or is at least interested in seeing if you are, talk to a loan officer. The whole point of buying a home is not to be this super big, complex, like jigsaw puzzle kind of thing. And I know we can feel that way because there's a lot that goes into buying a home. But for the most part, it's supposed to be informative. It's supposed to be, where you have an opportunity, you have an at-bat maybe available to you. So I just recommend talking to a loan officer, seeing what your options are. You may be in a position that you didn't realize you were to buy a home, or there may be programs out there that can help you accomplish that goal that you may not have been aware of. So I always say it's better to know. There's going to be some people who urge you to take an application right away and want to run credit right away. And I completely understand where they're coming from, because honestly, the best answer I can give you is once I've pulled credit. But, a conversation should be free. If you feel like you are talking to a loan officer that does not just want to chat with you about what your situation is and see if this is even a possibility for you right now without having, a application attached to it, feel free to contact me. I'm going to leave my email down below. Even if you're not in Nevada, I'd be happy to just discuss what your situation is and kind of point you in the right direction, and maybe even have like a referral for a lender in your area. So definitely reach out. I'd be happy to chat, happy to see, you know, if this is a good opportunity for you, and see if I can help you in any way. But that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you guys in the next one.